gotta do it right. Oh, yeah. What's up, y'all? It's your boy, the one and only A Switch, aka who left these damn Legos on the damn floor, aka that boy good. I gotta do it again. aka that boy good. Oh, that is killing me. That is killing me so bad. Oh man, that gets me every damn time. AKA the 310 times social distance champion. It's hard to keep track. AKA because I've been a champ so long. AKA the Nigga Lip Master. Bringing you yet another episode of Switches Sights. Episode 95 to be exact. We so close. 5 episodes. To kind of unveil the curtain a little bit. At least personally, my personal goal has been to always get to episode 100, regardless of, whatever dynamics. But, from a consistent standpoint in terms of maintaining that consistency, which I am proud of myself so far for doing. I think throughout the history of recording in the show, if at worst, just a couple exceptions of pushing the show back maybe a day or so, but otherwise been pretty consistent in that respect. So I am personally happy about that. So outside of that, I guess some minor personal stuff to dive in briefly. I posted a fair amount of stuff on Twitter, but specifically the RE8 playtest I mentioned. Man, I think I did that pretty much a year ago from Monday, where pretty much I got the opportunity to play test Resident Evil Village, aka Resident Evil 8, and I recall them. They had webcams, but for some dumb reason, I'm like, they don't have those on. But I'm pretty sure how they had it set up is like they had like webcams in like the game, and I'm pretty sure they were capturing, and I think they had it like streamed to people, I'm assuming in Japan, like the development team, and probably maybe some people in the US, maybe some higher ups, I don't know. But yeah, at least from the outside looking in, it was like, on top of that, I was like, I ain't gonna lie, I was fucking ecstatic to play Resident Evil 8 before, like, or I guess maybe the first people to play Resident Evil 8 before it got revealed officially. So yeah, I was excited as hell. I ain't gonna lie to y'all. It was like yeah, that was like Christmas. Like, you couldn't even sleep. I barely could sleep the night before. I was like, oh boy, I could not even sleep. I ain't been that excited since like maybe I was like 5 the night before Christmas. Well, it was always a thing. Personally, before Christmas, the day before Christmas, I would never be able to sleep, and like coincidentally, I'd always get sick. So Christmas was like, it was like a trade-off where it was like the best and worst day as a kid growing up. But as you got older, them presents don't look as appealing as they used. You start getting socks and yeah, like, oh, and this is not It's not Grand Theft Auto, mom, but yeah, hey, these socks, they gonna do me good. Now, socks would be cool, but back in the day, back in the day, mom, socks really? not the. I promise y'all, I'm not high or anything, but high on life. Anyway, so I forgot to finish that statement, but basically, I got an email from them saying, "Hey, we want to use your." I think they said, "Hey, we want to use your footage in, I think, some making of RE8." And I'm guessing probably like some promo, like commercials that you probably see on YouTube and stuff or something like that. But also at the same time, they said like they added a disclaimer, we may not use your footage or something like that. So I don't know. It seems like let's just get all your details and, sign this statement saying that you won't sue Capcom for defaming you or them making a meme of you looking dumb or something. I don't know. But yeah. So if you see some dude with some nigga lips oh man. If you see some dude with nigga lips playing playing RE8, hey, I'm sorry in advance. That might be me. I can already tell. I know a moment they're probably going to capture, or they're probably, if they do, if I make it into it, that they'll probably use. It's since it was technically in the E3 demo, it's totally fine. But pretty much, and I think I talked about it way back, but I'm pretty much the moment when Chris came out of nowhere, because it was a lot of. As somebody who saw that for the first time as a big Resident Evil fan or whatever, it was one, you see Chris and he's like the original redesigned Chris, not the, fugly Chris from RE7. So you have that come into play. And then, like just a couple seconds after, sorry, Ethan. And then pop, 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 pop. Shoot the hell out of Mia. I'm like, what? So I'm pretty sure they're probably gonna maybe splice or cut that up somehow, I would assume. But just to give a heads up, if for the podcast listeners, that hey, if you see some black light skinned dude with some nigga lips, it's killing me. It shouldn't, but it's killing me. That might be me. It might be me. So that's cool. Personally, as a huge fan of Resident Evil growing up, this is like a dream come true, actually, just to be even remotely involved with Resident Evil, let alone being able to play a Resident Evil game early before like anybody else, or outside of, I would assume, the team. Man, that was like, yeah, that's up there, one of the best days I've had. Dream come true. Also, man, I'm just getting all these wins this week. I'm cherishing it because it's probably gonna be one of the last ones. Real quick, to slightly unveil the work environment. I'm not gonna disclose where I work, but at least in terms of what I do outside of this show weekly, I do IT. The the very wide umbrella that entails. I'll just say that. But our company did provide an award, which is called the Chairman's Award. It's like the considered to be the highest achievement you can get, but I have it set up already, so I don't want to move it. I tried to, but it was too hard. Basically is considered the highest achievement you can get within a company, from the CEO, I guess the CEO of the company, which I've never met actually. He did. Of course, ironically, I was helping somebody on an issue where I couldn't even attend that meeting, but either way, got that award. Feels good, especially also real quick for people who work and deal with IT or whatever. You know what? Just a good thanks goes a long way in terms of specifically for the the craziness that was COVID, where a lot of companies had to transition to a work from home environment, and collectively across the globe, IT has probably been real real strained in that respect. So if you do work in any of those related companies, hey, just give them, give a little cupcake to your fellow IT people. Give a little pat on the back, a little dab. Well, okay, maybe not dab because it's COVID, but you know what I mean. Just say, hey, man, appreciate you. It goes a long way. All right. Respect your fellow IT people. Because they that could be heaven or hell depending on how you make it. Either way, to unveil a little personal side of me as we go 95 episodes in. Episode 95. Outside of that, well, the world is being the world. We I act like it's new, but we discover that racism exists in the UK now. So just to briefly touch on that, it's like, really? All right. The extremes people go to. So basically, to touch on the Meghan Markle situation, who's married to Prince Henry, one of those. Where I guess her immediate or his immediate family was all like, "Oh, I hope that baby ain't dark. I hope that dark baby. Boy, I don't want no dark baby. Oh, we ain't going." And man, it's a lot to decompress, which I'm not gonna get onto this show. This is not that type of show, but just to touch on it a little bit. Relax, okay? It's 2021. I'm just saying, let's calm it down a little bit. All right. Let's calm it down. Let's protect them babies. All right. Use Secret Service, okay, for the children. Don't discriminate because he's that whole thing is just messy overall. But I digress. Anywho, moving on. Without further ado, let's stop the dilly-dallying and get right into it. Bethesda and Microsoft, they were talking a little bit. They were getting real serious. They took it to the next level. Some things happened, and now officially, I think they made it official earlier in the week, but there was a event or streaming event where they basically were kind of going in further detail about the merger between with Bethesda going under the Xbox umbrella in terms of first party studios. So it was pretty insightful, I'd say, just to provide a better understanding of what's going on, basically to kind of also subside any, like, I guess, suspicions or concerns in terms of this merger like critically changing drastically, um I guess the vibe and feel and tone of the games and the studios that are making the games under Bethesda, which it definitely, at least going by that event, it did not give any impression that nothing pretty much would change. If anything, it seems like things will be much better for both ends, which is, I guess, one thing they were trying to hit home is that Xbox and Bethesda, they have a lot to learn from each other, which is, I think, is the good thing, which also I think ultimately Xbox will benefit the most from. So we'll see what comes of that. But a couple of tidbits in relation to that whole event specifically, and I guess to touch on a couple highlights. The first is that, boy oh boy, Bethesda is going in on Xbox when it comes to Game Pass, because it's a lot. It's a lot of Bethesda games coming to Game Pass tomorrow. You heard me, tomorrow. Do I say it again? Tomorrow. So it seems currently what's slated is you got the Evil Within, Evil Within 2, Doom 2016, Doom 3 BFG edition, Prey, Fallout 3, Fallout 4, Wolfenstein, the New Order, Wolfenstein, the New Colossus, the Old Blood, Dishonored, Death of the Outsider, Elder Scrolls, Oblivion, Morrowind, which is crazy because like that's a freaking original Xbox game that I think now on the Xbox Series X and probably even the Xbox One X, you could play in like 4K, which is, as somebody who who's always been primarily a console player, is pretty crazy to think about how consoles are kind of catching up with PCs in terms of like this type of upgradability, if you will, in terms of basically just keeping things that you can only fathom being possible on PC is like now starting to become a thing on Xbox, which is definitely a really dope check on Xbox's end compared to PS5. And I'm actually very tempted to try Morrowind now. I heard it's really good. I'm not one to golf at like old graphics. I rarely appreciate them, because it kind of, I see it as humbling personally. So I may try that as well as Oblivion, but I don't know. I know these are these are some commitments in terms of time, but maybe you can Critical Path. We'll see. You got Rage. Man, so that's a lot. Those are a lot of games. Jesus. Wolfenstein Youngblood. Did I mention that? No. Yeah, Wolfenstein Youngblood is one. Oh, so maybe those aren't. Though I think those are the games that currently aren't on Game Pass that will more than likely come on Game Pass. But at least for tomorrow, you got Dishonored 1, Dishonored 2, Doom 1, 2, 64, 3, Doom Eternal, which I think it was only on PC Game Pass. You got Fallout New Vegas, Fallout 4, Fallout 76, Prey, Rage 2, Morrowind, Oblivion, Skyrim, Elder Scrolls Online, Evil Within 1, and I think that's it. Outside of Wolfenstein New Order, Old Blood as well. I think some of the other titles are already on Game Pass. But either way, it's pretty safe to say eventually all of the Bethesda games will be on Xbox Game Pass at some point if they aren't tomorrow. So all in all, man, if if you're a Bethesda fan, you got a lot to look forward to. If you also have Game Pass, or you can go and get Game Pass. Then also for a lot of these games, they're also adding that cool new feature called FPS Boost or Plus FPS Boost, which basically will natively, to my understanding, natively boost the frames per second for games that otherwise wouldn't, that generally would typically need some like development assistance in that, where like the original devs of the game would need to, tinker with some settings, INI files, I don't know, to get it to that point. But I guess through Xbox's architecture, they can basically do that natively, where games that are like 30 FPS otherwise can be boosted to like, I guess technically the the ceiling as far as the consoles is 120 FPS if you have a HDMI 2.1 television. So that is pretty damn awesome. I love it. I love it so much. As a as a fellow enthusiast, I do enjoy that very much. That prospect even. Yeah, man, this is pretty cool. I think it's definitely both companies will definitely benefit from this for sure. In that the streaming event earlier today, they also touched on some of the dev companies under the Bethesda umbrella, which is technically now under the Xbox umbrella. Of course, they had the guy that was making Deathloop Arcane Studios, I think. And then they also had Shinji Mikami, of course, the legend himself that basically invented survival horror. So now thinking of that prospect of that's kind of weird to fathom, like there's going to be like maybe potentially a Resident Evil killer on killer app exclusively on Xbox, which is crazy. It's kind of weird to think now. It's like now I'm like really starting to think of Xbox in a whole different realm now. Where you always, I think most people always thought of Xbox as a good alternative or primary console for third party stuff. I know some people prefer that as well, but now it's like it totally flips them in a whole new front now that everything is official. I know way back months ago we didn't know about we knew it was underway, but it wasn't fully official yet. They didn't have the rings on yet, but I don't know what is that. I'm trying to think of some analogy for relationships to Microsoft and Xbox, but it's just they didn't put on Facebook. There you go. They didn't put in a relationship on Facebook yet, but then earlier this week they did put it. The status is in a relationship. At first it was it's complicated. It's complicated. We're not sure about each other yet, but then earlier this week they you saw it. They they put officially in a relationship. Then everybody's, oh, that's so cute. Oh my God. Oh man. Why ain't I in a relationship? I hate this. There's always somebody better. Let's be honest. Yeah. So also harken back on that event as well. There was a very distinct statement Phil Spencer, Uncle Phil Spencer made during that event. And you know what? We just gotta quote it. Let me get even though I give credit to Phil Spencer. He's like probably the most down to earth, Xbox front person, if you will, which, I mean, that's not to take away from a lot of the other folks that are of the same, various companies, but it just seems he always stands out as like being very personable and like relatable. You know what I mean? He's like, hey, I'm not gonna bullshit you. I'm, you know, he seems like that type of dude. So, excuse me, I have to perk up these pipes. That made it sound very very weird, but I'm sorry. I apologize about that, but okay. Need to tighten this down. Keep it tight. I listen to. Hold on. I wasn't ready. I wasn't ready. I'm trying to. Okay. I listen to the podcast and all the questions, so I'm going to try to be as clear as I can because that's what I just think it's fair. So obviously, I can't sit here and say every Bethesda game is exclusive because we know that's not true. There's contractual obligations that we're going to see through, as we always do in every one of these instances. We have games that exist on other platforms, and we're going to go support those games on the platforms they're on. There's communities of players. We love those communities and will continue to invest in them. And even in the future, there might be things that have either contractual things or legacy on different platforms that will go do. But if you're an Xbox customer, the thing I want you to know is this is about delivering great, exclusive games for you that ship on platforms where Game Pass exists. And that's our goal. That's why we're doing this. That's the root of this partnership that we're building. And the creative capability we will be able to bring to market for our Xbox customers is going to be the best it's ever been in Xbox after we're done here. Sorry, I feel like after that I kind of went to like a action movie post horror type vibe, which I wasn't going for, but I was like, all right, whatever. Went to some die hard stuff. I don't know. Either way, so at least what I took from that is that pretty much all the existing contractual stuff they have going on. I know with the couple games that come to mind, Ghostwire Tokyo, I know that's for sure gonna come on PS5. Was there any other distinct one? I guess technically the Outer Worlds, even though I think that's technically Obsidian, which wasn't under the Bethesda umbrella, but they used to be with Bethesda or something like that. Or I think there were some people that used to be on the Bethesda team and then they broke away and made their own studio. No, I think Bethesda used to be under umbrella and then they broke away. But now they're back, which I know we talked about that awkward moment because I think they made Fallout New Vegas, at least the most recent one, and they made the original Fallout game. I think the original Fallouts 1 and 2. So yeah, that's gonna be interesting to see if they like come back and like, oh hey, oh I guess we, man, how you been? How you been doing? It's like, we both know this is awkward. Let's just go. Let's just stop right now. So yeah, so it seems like for sure there's definitely going to be some exclusivity. That, you know, if anything, I say at the worst, it's probably going to be some serious timed exclusivity stuff, at least going forward with future titles. I would assume that probably includes Starfield. I think that's the Fallout in space Fallout, which is kind of ironic or redundant to a certain extent. And then the new Elder Scrolls 6, that's like, those are deadlocked, not going to be there's definitely going to be some exclusivity to some extent, where it's at least going to be annoying enough where, people that are on the fence about it will, jump one way or another. But at the same time, most people, I can't even say most people, I say a good amount of people that probably only committed to one console, more than likely has a PC that maybe is capable of playing games. That's a pretty broad statement, but I would say there are probably more people that have at least one console and a PC than, somebody that has like all of the consoles and PC or something like that. So, I mean, if anything, that still will give a lot of opportunity to people that, wouldn't want to get let's say Elder Scrolls 6 on Xbox, but want to play it on PC. But even though, like, I always associate Elder Scrolls to play on PC than anything. Like, for me personally, I have this weird association with some games where I just feel like it just doesn't feel right playing it on console, even though it's, obviously as optimized as possible to be played on consoles as well as PC. But, it's some games you associate with certain consoles and stuff, even though they are multi-platform. I know I'm not the only one. Okay, shut up. So I mean, I think there's literally surprising nobody in terms of that the exclusivity. That's you paid what I think it was like a crazy amount, like 7.5 billion or something. You don't pay that much money to just not have exclusivity or anything to entice people on the fence to, hop in the ecosystem that is Xbox. That just doesn't add up. Just doesn't compute. Does not compute. So, I'm sorry. I just because I have it does not compute. Does not compute. Does not compute. I'm sorry. I had to. That's the only time I'm ever going to use that, so I had to. I'm sorry. So yeah, all in all, this is a great stuff for Xbox, as again, just cause boy, man, that's one thing too, I swear people love to go in these console wars for no reason. But it's always good to see competition, and you know what I mean? Like, this is only going to make PlayStation 5 be better as a platform, and vice versa, make Xbox be a better platform and try to strive to be better. So man, all in all, gamers are winning. I think I do appreciate Xbox for giving more options where, if you don't want an Xbox, you can still, if you have a PC, which you more than likely do, you can go that route for a lot of these exclusives coming up for sure. So it feels good, man. Feels good to see Xbox on the up and up, especially, well, considering the horror that was Xbox, at least initially for the most part. But it's good to see, man. It really is. It really, really is. It's so great. It's so great. All right. Did we cover? Yeah. So moving on. Next topic. Monster Hunter digital event happened, I guess technically, was it last week? No, this Monday. Boy, time is just gone. So they went over a good amount of details, of course, Monster Hunter Rise, but they also talked about Monster Hunter Stories 2, which, it's more of what that is. I really have no concept of what that game is. I've not did not seem interested enough to me to jump into. But from what I saw, there's like some monster riding. I'm not sure if you could do that in the first one. Maybe you could, but this just shows how much I'm aware of it. But let's talk about really what we really want to talk about. At Monster Hunter Rise, though, there was a good amount of details that dropped. First and foremost, another demo is dropping tomorrow, Friday, the 12th, probably maybe by midnight tonight, maybe, where it's, I think they said it's going to be pretty much most of the same quests from the last demo, but on this one, it will have, you get to fight Magnamalo, the flagship monster of this game. And apparently it's going to be booty. It's going to be booty hard. I don't know. That's not really indicative of how not really indicative of how hard something is, but hey. I guess it's maybe kind of sarcastic. It's like, oh man, it's going to be booty hard. So you mean it's not going to be hard? No, it's so hard it's soft. I feel like that's some science thing where it's something that's so hard it's soft. I feel like that's some solidification. I'm sorry, it's been a while. It was gasification, liquefaction, solidification. It was something like that. I know I'm in the ballpark. I just didn't get the home run yet. I hit the T-ball and I tried to go for first base, but it didn't work. Either way, Magnamalo will probably beat your ass in this demo. And of course, what do you know? They I think in this demo, it's not going to be the annoying what is it? The freaking which is just it's just irritating. The limited time crap like they did with Resident Evil, where you can only play it like within the span of 30 minutes. At least with this one, you can only do 100 tries or something like that. Or it was like, I think it was like you can only play it 30 times, 30 tries, and then the demo will lock, which is just dumb, but whatever. So at least, oh, well, what do you know? Now we're closer to the release. You could play the hell out of that demo now if you want. So there you go for that. But we did get some pretty good details, specifically regarding some of the like specifics. At least the biggest curiosity I had was the one mode. What was it called? Rampage, where basically it seems like it's more of a tower defense type deal. It feels like tower defense / like Uber Hunt quest, if you just blended those together. And like, I guess typically for Uber Hunt quests, where you normally have like five monsters you have to hunt all in one quest. But then again, it's like, it's hard to say, but at least from what they showed, it definitely seems to provide a better understanding, where it's like more so it is, it seems to be a bigger emphasis on tower defense, where you have to protect your home or base or whatever and stop the monsters from destroying it. Because at least in the trailer, they showed the monsters like trying to destroy the particular strongholds or something like that, which I'm trying to see, but it's not letting me. But either way, that's at least the general gist I got from that. They also showed a good amount of confirmed monsters now. Nargacuga is back. Xenogra is fucking back. Let's go. That's y'all like that. That's my, actually you can only do it. Yeah. See, hey, Capcom, if you need a voiceover for Xenogra and only Xenogra, there you go. That man, I ain't gonna lie. That sound like that sound like a Xenogra going and eat. That's the wrong way. Hold on. Oh, did I change the dial?
I'm sorry. Let's. No. 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 Damn it.
I fucked up my EQ. Son of a bitch. Son of a bitch. This Go XLR won't let me be great. Son of a bitch. Okay, one more time. Well, you get the idea. So Xenogra, I know we saw Barrioth. I'm looking at the trailer right now. I think they confirmed Rajang. I'm pretty sure Ajanaf was in there. I don't think we knew about Toby Kadachi. Girotodis. Of course, Rathalos. Goodness. Yeah, so a lot of returning monsters coming back. Yeah, Xenogra just chewing on that Midazune. He about to eating tonight. So yeah. Pretty dope. Also, they showed a cool little trailer at the end, showing the first DLC monster, which it seems like they have a pretty good cadence if Monster Hunter World is any indication, where Chameleos, man, I love his theme, at least in Ultimate, and I think he premiered in Monster Hunter 4 for the 3DS, but he is coming back, making his third return. Chameleos. He looks kind of not the like the brightest tool in the shed. Actually, you know what? In Rise, he does look more sensible, if that makes sense. Maybe it's just the angles. I don't know. But I'm looking forward to that. Looking forward to get all that gas sprayed on me while I'm listening to that his dope ass theme. See what they're gonna do with Rise. But hey, oh, it's looking so good. It's looking so good. I think they showed a couple of additional things you can do with the wire bug, I want to say. I want to check on that real quick. I guess they split it up. Either way, Monster Hunter Rise is looking good. That's all. I mean, it's pretty. In conclusion, Monster Hunter Rise is gonna be good, pretty much. In conclusion, I'm. By the way, I'm referencing. It was some meme on Twitter where it was like, basically that was the meme. Like it was some dude like presenting a PowerPoint in class. In conclusion, you could shut your ass up. Something like that. So, yes, I am, all I'm going to say, my nipples are very hard right now. And there's only one reason for that. I'm not even going to finish that statement. Okay. All right, moving on. Man, you know that service Denuvo. You probably don't, but let me educate you a little bit. So Denuvo basically was a service that was mainly for PCs, where pretty much it acted as a anti-piracy and anti-cheat, but the general consensus has always been, for pretty much all the games it's been involved in, it always would either highly degrade performance in the game, specifically frame rates, and being the main gist of it, as well as like load on the CPU and stuff like that. So, at least for most people, when you hear, "Hey guys, Denuvo's involved in this game," everybody just scoffs. Ugh. The eyes roll. The eyes roll immediately, not in a good way either. So, and what do you know? PlayStation 5 is also incorporating this software as well. So, I don't think it's the console specifically. It may be. That's one thing I didn't fully. So I guess it's specifically for the first party games. And it's middleware program to offer anti-cheat technology to game developers. So I'm gonna try to skim through this article real quick. Security and Innovation Collide. Denuvo by Erudito today announces it has joined the exclusive PlayStation 5 tools and middleware program. Denuvo, the leader in video games protection, offers its anti-cheat solution through this program to publishers and developers whose games are available on PlayStation 5. Blah 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 blah. Yeah, they're trying to buff themselves up so good too. We are like literally the worst anti-cheat. We literally destroy games. We literally kill games. Guys, we kill games. So, I guess it doesn't necessarily. This doesn't necessarily, I guess, mean death yet. So, I mean, this is at least just stating that it will be available, which more than likely these first party studios are going to use. But at least what a lot of people are saying is that this is probably going to be mostly used for PC games, the PlayStation first party games that are planning to be ported to PC, which that makes sense. But still, I mean, it's Denuvo. At least unless they make a big improvement to change all that, I don't really see that changing. But I mean, if it's just PC, that's fine. And then, I mean, I personally would just stick with the PlayStation 5 versions, depending. But we'll see. If anything, it seems like it's just saying, hey, we're here if you need us. We'll provide that anti-cheat, protect them games if you want. We won't fuck up your game. We won't destroy it. We won't kill any frame rates. Won't kill. They stay on their breath. Maybe like 2%. What? What? Huh? We'll see. I guess specifically anti-cheat, which is kind of crazy though, if this is going to be on console. Because I don't think we've ever had an anti-cheat specifically on console. I guess technically, I'm not sure if DNS count on PlayStation 2, but maybe that's the closest we ever got to anti-cheat. Because I think that's what it was meant for. What was DNS? What did it stand for again? I must know this. I crave the knowledge. DNAS. Dynamic Network Authentication System was a proprietary authentication system created by Sony. DNS retrieved information about a user's hardware and software for authentication, copy protection, account blocking, system rules, or game management and other purposes. So DNAS uses a set of codes in a protected area of the game DVD together with serial numbers from the console EEPROM for online authentication. So essentially it was anti-piracy and anti-cheat pretty much, because yeah, if you manipulated anything, I think DNAS would automatically block you or say you cannot connect. You cannot connect. Stop cheating, you bitch. It would literally do that. Say, you are cheating. Stop it, you son of a bitch. Dirty scum. It's good. I'm actually getting use out of that. I'm not gonna lie. So yeah, we'll see. We have to see. Maybe it might not be as horrible as it is on PC, but at least as far as the reputation I'm aware of, it's generally pretty annoying / irritating in terms of how much of a performance hit it'll do. Probably all like I would assume the tech YouTube channels are gonna jump on this and probably, fully analyze and dissect it to every bit, which I'm not gonna lie to you, I love that shit. Okay, because it's very insightful. We'll see. We shall see. Moving on. Them turtles that are teenage and live under a shell, back at it again. I think they announced Wednesday that Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Shredder's Revenge has been announced. So, looking from the trailer at least, it's made by one of the dev teams that was involved with Streets Rage 4. So I'm like personally interested and immediately on my radar for sure, based off that alone. But it seems like, at least from going by the gameplay, it seems to be definitely a love letter to the old school Ninja Turtle beat 'em up games, which again, hey, it's like somebody just elevate your pitching to me right now. It's like, hey, get this. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles game. The art looks just like the old school games, but a little bit better. You got Dottie MU. They made Street Rage 4. You like that, don't you, huh? And then what else? Ninja Turtles. They just say that again. Ninja Turtles. Okay. All right. There were, I think there was also a streamed live event, like exclusively in Japan, but somebody on our Reset Era translated it to English. For the most part, there might be some mistranslation here, but so they said 7 months to make the trailer. Great fans of the arcade and SNES game. Damn, they just gonna do Genesis like that. That's kind of messed up. Genesis Hyperstone Heist was really good. I liked Hyperstone Heist. Maybe that was just mistranslated, I would assume, because I think it was collectively great across all platforms. And I think the SNES was a port of the arcade game, I believe, too, if I'm not mistaken. But I digress. Some of them worked on the GBA game at Ubisoft. I think I remember actually playing that game, and I did actually like that one. Years wanting to do this game, but Activision had the rights. Dottie MU also wanted the game. They all met at GDC 3 years ago. They made a pitch at Nickelodeon. Not easy for a small French indie team to get the license, but making more and more games made it easier. So I would assume definitely Streets of Rage 4 probably put them on the map with that one, especially coming from the same kind of position, of a somewhat established series that's been dormant for, I don't know, roughly almost the same time frame. Even though technically Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles has had like a lot more various games trying to be like it, but not close. remotely for the most part. But let's see. Nickelodeon actually contacted .emu after Wonder Boy and the Dragon's Trap told them they wanted to make games together. .emu picked TMNT instantly. That's crazy. Nickelodeon actually reached out to them, maybe after they reached out to them first. And okay, I guess we'll talk to them. Took a long time to get all the details of the game, improve all of them. Revisit of the Konami classics with new formulas and features. Wanted to polish the outdated aspects of the old games. This definitely seems pretty promising in terms of like the potential of maybe, if it's anything remotely to Streets of Rage in terms of like adding, I ain't gonna lie, I'm gonna say it again, okay? I'm a sucker for some juggle mechanics, okay? I can't get enough, all right? If Donatello could juggle as well as Leonardo, and maybe Michelangelo could throw a nunchuck to give him a little more air, I wouldn't be mad at it. I doubt anybody would be mad at it. Juggling, you can do wrong with juggling. That's my unofficial rule. You can do no wrong with a juggle. What is that? It was the freaking dodgeball. What was the damn quote? I have to know. It's gonna kill me. Damn it. You could dodge a wrench, but you can't dodge a ball. Yeah, there we go. Okay. I remembered it. I don't know how that's not really relevant, but it's close enough. It's close enough. 4-player co-op online confirmed. That's pretty huge. If that actually comes to fruition, because I believe Streets Rage 4 planned to have it, but it didn't fall through because of various issues. So they knocked it down to 2-player. But that's definitely a big up if that's the case. Aiming for each stage to be like an episode with a contained story. And also, of course, coming into the big story. That's interesting because going by the trailer, it seemed like there was a lot of possible hints at possibly like a resurgence of like the animated show. Because to be honest, for a trailer, the animation, because it looked like some like thought out like cartoon animation in there that it seemed like that it could be like a legitimate like TV show like resurgence coming back with to go directly back to the old school Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, which would be pretty dope. Smoother to chain combos. There are special attacks, really flashy ones. Oh man, you sold me with that already. Oh, I love me some flashy attacks, boy. I love flashy attacks. I would use my. Let me try to. Damn it. Oh well. What else? Both teams wanted to work on the 87 designs from the start and nothing else. So they definitely wanted to for sure go directly to the old school TMNT. Wiz Studio in Paris did their new intro animation. They had Patton via some contacts from their Streets Rage 4 team and discovered he was also a fan of the series and theme. So yeah, being associated with Streets Rage 4 is the best possible result, I'd say, for this game. Cool. Is there anything else? Yeah, so I guess there was a question about side scroll only or also RPG elements. Said we can't go into details, but we want to improve and adapt to modern times. like Scott Pilgrim game has some RPG elements. Also, there are also playable vehicles like skateboards and hoverboards and such. That was a question that was asked. We have them in mind, of course. There will be for sure sequences different of the typical side scroll on foot. They help break the pace, and is a no brainer having them. There'll be more info on that later. So I am invested. I am ready. You can actually add it to wishlist on Steam right now. So if you don't know, if you wishlist the item on Steam, it does help a lot for a game's visibility, where it's kind of like, I guess, roughly kind of similar to YouTube, where it's like, the more attention it gets, the more it propagates across the platform. So, hey man, show your support for this game. Because we want it. I want it. I love Ninja Turtles when I was a kid. I love Ninja Turtles. Leonardo for life. I'm just gonna say that right now. But all of the turtles are good too. Just I like Leonardo the most personally. He was blue and he got swords. How do I sound? There's like a Ninja Turtles event. I'm just going there. I'm old as hell. All these little kids, and I'm just talking to little kid. Hey, you know what? Hey, what is your favorite? Hey, I love Leonardo. All right. Don't talk to Leonardo about that. All right. Don't talk on Leonardo about that. We gonna have some problems. I'll sock a kid in this store. Sir, are you even? Sir, what are you doing here? Damn it. All right, moving on. And I forgot to include this. Of course I did. Of course I did. Okay. Damn it, I cannot type. So, in somewhat unrelated news, kind of related. In terms of old school characters, Space Jam 2 bringing it back up. So apparently there's some news that dropped earlier this week of Pepe Lepew from the is it Nick Warner Brothers Tunes? Looney Tunes. Where apparently he was going to be in the Space Jam 2 in a scene, but they cut it way back when. For those that don't know, which is pretty understandable now, but Pepe Lepew was like probably the most horrible representation of a character you could have in a cartoon. He was literally a rapist / pedophile. No, not pedophile. I guess I can't say that technically. But he was a straight up man, what do you even define him as? Just I guess the best way is that he promoted rape culture, which is like, yeah, it was in retrospect thinking about it now, I was like, yeah, that was a pretty bad look. That was pretty horrible. He was like literally forcing women to kiss him, and then trying to basically, it seemed like all of his episodes were just focused around getting a woman to like him, even though they didn't generally like him, if that makes sense, in the most forceful ways possible, which is just no. That just in today's climate, that shit ain't gonna fly at all. So they went to a scene talking about it, where I guess apparently it was an actor, Grease Santo, who was gonna be in like this black and white scene, and then Pepe Lepew was gonna come up to her, and I think he was gonna do something rude and brush him off. Where they had like a one by one on the scene, which I'm trying to find. Yeah, Pepe was said to appear in a black and white Casablanca like Rick's Cafe sequence. Pepe, playing a bartender, starts hitting on a woman at the bar, played by Grace Santo. He begins kissing her arm. Yeah, that's some very, and we all know that it's unwanted. That's it's unwanted. Uh, don't touch me. I don't want to be touched. Which she pulls back, then slamming Pepe into the chair next to hers. She then pours her a drink. She then pours her drink on Pepe. Oh, okay. I was like, wait a minute, that doesn't add up. Pours her drink on Pepe and slaps him hard, sending him in a spinning in the stool, which is then stopped by LeBron James's hand. James and Bugs Bunny are looking for Lola, and Pepe knows her whereabouts. Pepe then tells the guys that Penelope Cat has filed a restraining order against them. It got real. James makes a remark in the script that Pepe can't grab other tunes without their consent. I mean, they definitely probably should have kept that in. Upon learning that her scene with Pepe was cut, Santo was upset, according to her spokesperson. The actress singer has been a victim of sexual harassment and has spoken out against it. Even in recording a debut single, Gattaca, to empower women to stand up to sexual predators, sexual harassment. And she even has a nonprofit, Glam with Greece, which aims to empower victims of domestic violence to change their lives for the better. So, yeah. And she took joy in shooting a Spacejam sequel scene with Pepe because the skunk finally gets his comeuppance. Yeah, they definitely should have kept that scene in, because I mean, it for sure would have been like a commentary on how things aren't okay, you know, when you compare it back to back in the day when, you know, some very risque stuff like really passed by. But now in today's climate, you know, it's like, man, that is really fucked up, basically, because yeah, he was straight up violating women. when you think about it, he was straight up violating women on some like who's the cartoon from Cartoon Network, Johnny Bravo, where, you know, he was straight up like sexual harassment, sexual harasser. He seemed, I'm trying to remember like some distinct ones, but it's all a blur now. But yeah, it's been some very very push the envelope, very yeah, for sure, sexual harass / predators in cartoons. They definitely should have kept this in. Yeah, definitely would have just say like, hey man, that's not okay. That ain't cool. That's not cool. And address that to, like, you know, bring attention to, you know, how messed up he actually was as a character. And, you know, maybe, but then it's like that was, at the same time, it's like that was his whole shtick of being like a pedophile. Well, I keep saying pedophile, but I mean pervert. That's what I'm looking for. So, yeah. Yeah, I understand where they're coming from, as they like, we don't want to deal with all that. But I think it would have definitely made more sense, especially given like, as a commentary of, you know, the drastic changes from back then to now. Yeah, I see both sides, as it's like, it's a tough, it's a tough topic to bring up. And maybe I would assume maybe they potentially don't want to like kill the whole mood of the movie, I guess. But I think it could have been there could have been a way to do it. But I'd assume they just like, it's too much work, let's stop it, let's just scrap it. So I like how LeBron James put his ass in his place, though. I respect that. That's pretty. I hope that's a deleted scene if whenever that comes out on movies. Like, hey man, that ain't cool. Stop it. Oi, oui, oui. Oh, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. I'm sorry. That's my best impression. I apologize. yeah, so there you go. Cool. Moving on to what I've been playing. Concludes all the news for this week. All right. So, talked about it on Twitter roughly. But man, me and these random urges to just mod. And that's exactly what I did pretty much. So I'm not sure if I touched on this way back, but the PS Classic, I did originally mod it when it came out, and it still had some work that needed to be done. It wasn't ultimately perfect, but it was totally playable. But I haven't touched it really much since. But then I was like, you know what? I guess the biggest thing that got me to do it was there was I was playing, or I was at least inviting the idea to start replaying some of the Resident Evil games in anticipation of Resident Evil 8. With only having access to Resident Evil Director's Cut, which is technically the worst version of the game, from from a very musical standpoint. I mean, I have to. It's very relevant right now. So, in case you don't know, we have to bring this back up because it's important. We just have to. You'll know what I mean. Oh God. Oh man. Actually, one fascinating thing about that at least I wasn't even aware of until recently was for those that may not know, is that basically I think in the span of Resident Evil 1 to the director's cuts, there was the composer of the game. I guess he was supposedly the Beethoven of music at the time in Japan, and it basically come to find out he was actually a fraud, and he was actually paying I think a high school music teacher to compose the music for him. So that basically explains that track. Cause boy, just robots farting. That's at least what I assume it was. Yeah. So basically, I was trying to. There's a ultimate director's cut, which is basically a fan mod of the game that basically gives you all the elements of the original Resident Evil director's cut, but puts the music of the original game, which is generally the better of the soundtracks, into it. So that's at least what I plan to do. I got it set up and running, so I'm more than likely probably going to try that at some point. But basically, that was my biggest inspiration to start getting back into modding. So I did update the emulator, which is what is it? BleemSync was the original one, but now they upgraded to a new emulator called I think ESRI or something like that. But overall, it seems to be way better in terms of from at least when it originally started with the PS Classic when it just launched. So pretty awesome. It has a OTG support, which is basically if it's a specific type of cable that lets you add a USB drive to the power connector, which basically just gives you more maneuverability and options and flexibility overall. So, yeah, so I messed with just to test some games out. I messed with Resident Evil, which seemed to run fine, and then man, played this fun ass game that I totally forgot about called Crisis Beat, which is basically it is a spin-off of the Time Crisis shoot 'em games, light gun games. But man, it is fun as hell. So I think I tweeted about it. But basically, is this random ass character, and I guess I feel like this is. I would assume this is probably something that started in anime that I'm not aware of, but it's this one dude that he just basically has his hands in his pockets, and he basically just fights with his legs, just using kicks relentlessly. I think I saw it in another beat 'em up too. I forgot the name of it, but I want to say it's Guardians or something like that, where it's like the end boss was a dude that just fights with his pockets until you really piss him off, and he's like, oh, all right, you pissed me off now. Now I'm gonna use my fist. And then he like randomly morphed into some like alien huge robot or something. Yeah. I would assume I would assume it's something I'm not aware of that more than likely originated from some Japanese media. But nonetheless, it's cool regardless. So yeah, it's pretty fun. And of course, I mean, the biggest thing that sold me is hey, you can juggle. So I mean, as long as you can juggle, I'm ready to ready to muggle, suckle. You know what? That works. As long as I can juggle, I'm ready to suckle. All right. If you hear me. So yeah, that was pretty fun. Tested out Tekken 2 and 3. It was pretty fun to revisit those as well. But all in all, it has been working fine. I definitely highly recommend if you if you wanted to get a PS Classic now, what would it depends. I don't know. It's hard to recommend because you have to really want to play a lot of the games, and it just depends on your preference. I don't know. That's why I always have the issue of recommending people modding stuff, because it's like it is pretty time consuming, even for somebody who, at least personally, I consider myself pretty technically savvy for the most part. That it's still some intricacies you got to figure out in terms of like why this isn't working. Oh, I forgot there was this one issue that I had that might have been an issue with the first version of Bleem Sync or the ROMs I had, where basically the game would play just fine, but no music would actually play. Like other than the music, the game was totally running just fine. Come to find out, it was something with what's called a Q.Q file, which basically tells the game, hey, let's play this track on this stage, play this track on other stage. So basically, I found out that some reason those files were janked or messed up in some way, shape, or form. And after, re-download and doing some reconfiguring, they started working just fine after that. So then I was able to get music. So it's just a lot of stuff like that you could potentially run into that could totally just sour your whole experience when it comes to that. But it depends. I mean, you have to have a lot of patience, I'd say. That's for a lot of things. So then also with that in mind, I was like, I was doing some research as well. What is the best version of the original Resident Evil to play? And the Ultimate Director's Cut was one, and then also Resident Evil Deadly Science that I do actually have But I was like, you know what? What would be really cool is that if you could play it on your Wii U, considering the touchscreen functionality, where it just feels like it's essentially a bigger Wii U or a bigger DS. I was like, let's try that. And then I went on this whole this whole damn rabbit hole of, you know, hacking my Wii U, which I did successfully. But in terms of trying to get the DS to work, it does have a native DS emulator in it for majority a good amount of games, but the process is way more complicated than like having to install a emulator and playing from the emulator. You have to do I forgot the term. I think it's called payload loading or something like that, where essentially you have to like install the game natively as an app in the Wii U and then play it via emulation or Wii U's emulation that way. So ended up being way more time consuming than I wanted to deal with. So I was like, you know what, I'm satisfied. I hacked the Wii U, so if I ever want to start playing emulators in it, I'm fine. That's cool. So you know, there's basically that. So I was satisfied enough with, you know, hacking the Wii U and just cutting it there. At some point when I have built up enough patience, maybe I'll try revisiting it. Again, let some time pass. Let some of these hackers update it to make it more streamlined. But either way, the Wii U is also been successfully hacked. Also been kind of curious now that I've gotten the bug. I've been trying to and wanting to at least try to hack my PS2 and Xbox, original Xbox as well. Seems like PS2 is pretty easy. Xbox a little more intricate, where basically you have to open up the Xbox, which is fine, and you have to get rid of this capacitor, which I guess over time will like obliterate the motherboard and stuff like that. So I don't know. I'm not sure if I've ran out of patience as of now. So it's funny. Lately on the weekends, I've just been like, I've been not gaming, which I've been wanting to do, but just doing random stuff like this. It's modding my consoles, which is actually fun and insightful. I can't even lie. That's obviously why I've been doing it. So anyway, outside of that, also played a little bit more of the Halo Master Chief Collection flight test for the new maps for 3. Still having a good time with them. I tried to play yesterday, but I think the servers were down, or maybe the flight is over. Haven't checked, but did that. Also tried out that Black Ops Outbreak mode. Wasn't impressed. It just felt like zombies in a bigger map, which is like, it's fine if you're playing with other people, but I generally won't go on my way to play this mode. If I see other people playing, I'll probably join, but that's about it. So it was pretty short lived, and then I was playing with some just horrible people that wouldn't help me up if I got down by the zombies, or weren't playing objective. They were like just talking about some other stuff and weren't necessarily playing a game. It seemed like, so it was like, what are you even doing here? I digress. And then of course, I mean, I don't even have to tell you, Modern Warfare, man. Literally what I've been playing majority of this week. I got all the, what did I get? I got all of the, pretty much all the guns. I just have these damn freaking launchers left to complete. After that, I will finally have acquired the Damascus camo. And life will have meaning. Life will finally have meaning. I can live my life after that. Right after that, I'll play that video that they always played at Evo after Evo ended, where the dude kicks through the wall. He's like, "You're all free now," but it's just me. Like, it's been a grind, but it's like I've been enjoying it thoroughly though. At the same time, at least getting a well-rounded experience of all the weapons of Modern Warfare. This is like literally outside of Modern Warfare 2, one of the biggest Modern Warfare games that I've like literally played the most, as well as do all the challenges for the guns. And yeah, man, this is like literally the best Modern Warfare to date, I'd say. And and what's funny is that Black Ops Cold War keeps solidifying that, comparing and contrast. Because I think I messed with some of the new map that came out with the new season as well, and it just was not doing it for me. It just something about the game was just not doing it for me. I'm not sure if it was more of a visual thing or a gameplay thing, but it felt like a combination of both. That like, I just want to. It's like it's pushing me more towards playing Modern Warfare every time I play Black Ops Cold War. So I feel like that's indicative of something. I don't know what, but outside of that, pretty much all of what I was doing gaming wise, and then media. Of course, WandaVision. Oh man, WandaVision. It was a great show. Great show. Ended pretty good for the most part. I mean, of course, it isn't a Marvel movie without leaving a lot of open-ended questions. It felt like it was too many questions they left open, which at least personally was having me needing a little bit more closure. I feel like I kind of got satiated that hunger after what did I do? I was I was watching YouTube theory videos to kind of appease this hunger for closure of the show, which is great. So, brief, quick rundown of the show. Spoilers for WandaVision if you haven't seen it, but yeah. So it starts out where they left off last episode with Agatha choking the hell out of them kids with the magic whips, and then Wanda, that mom came out of Wanda. Boy, that mom came out. She like shooting fireballs at her or magic balls. Like, who? I swear I heard it. Who? And then her ass just fling back. But they started showing how that power she had of sucking people's powers when it's used on her. That her hands were starting to deteriorate. Wanda's hands. So they fighting, and then Wanda just Wanda gutter. Let's just keep it at that. Wanda gutter. All right, she's out of nowhere. She just threw a car at her ass into the house, and then they had a Wizard of Oz reference and stuff, and then White Vision out of nowhere came up. He's like, "Hey Wanda, how you doing?" And she's like, let me, Wanda just like, I don't know what she was thinking, but she just had some googly eyes for the dude. And then he's like, yeah, what was she doing? She's like, I want to kiss you, Vision, cause you look white or something. I don't know. Either way, Vision just started choking her ass. She's like, Vision was like, White Vision. I'm like, let me prick that skull for you real quick. And then Soul Vision, he just rammed his ass, and then they fighting, do, and then Wanda looks for, I think, the witch, and then their fighting still ensues. Then I think she plays a trick about untrancing the people that were under Wanda's spell to like show like, you did this, Wanda, you did all of this to all these people or whatever. And she's like, no, I didn't do it. And then all the people coming at her, I can't even sleep because I have your dreams and all that stuff. And then out of nowhere, she just started choking everybody, like, everybody shut up, I didn't do this. And then while she's actually choking people. So like, oh, okay. So it's kind of interesting. You see that side of like how Wanda is shaping up to be kind of like the villain of the potentially the Doctor Strange movie, multi I want to say multi Strange Madness, but multiverse of madness. So you kind of get that, and then the Vision versus Vision fight. It kind of ends where what did he use, the ship of Theseus? I guess is it paradox? I feel like it's a paradox, but I forgot the official term for it. But basically, he presented this, like, I'm gonna just say paradox because that's what it felt like. But he presented this paradox with Vision where they were like having a discussion. White Vision was like, I must kill Vision. Then he said, like, we're both Vision though. So what are you gonna do? Blah blah blah. And then he uses the ship theory, where basically, or paradox, where it's like, if a ship, the ship that I guess was destroyed, and they had to keep building these new aspects to it. If a ship keeps getting built up, is it the same ship? Is that ship actually that ship, or is it something else? And then that then White Vision was like, does not compute, does not. I was expecting his head to blow up, but it didn't happen. But then he was like, oh, okay, all right. Entertain me, Soul Vision. And then he's like, Soul Vision was like, all right, let me put you on game. Let me put you on game real quick. And he just touched his head and basically transferred all his memories to Vision. And then, White Vision was like, I am Vision. And then he just left. He just flew up and left. I'm like, all right, I guess we'll see you in the next MCU movie or show or something. Or maybe WandaVision. I mean, Doctor Strange, maybe. I don't know. So you get that. Then, oh yeah, freaking director Hayward shooting kids. He horrible. Lock his ass up. Either way, what's her name? Kat Dennings, her beautiful self. She just out of nowhere rammed his ass. Have fun in prison. That was great though. That was pretty good. So yeah, and then it's a lot. It's a lot to digest, but ultimately, towards the end, the hex closes up, and then Vision has his final goodbye. He's like, what did he say? Damn it, he says something really moving too. Or was it Wanda? It was definitely the scene between both, but basically Wanda reveals that Soul Vision was like the love of him, or a part of the Soul Stone that she keeps, or something like that. I'm totally not doing it justice, but and then you get the tear from Vision. It was like, oh my God, he's an android that they said something like when he was the original Vision, he was once a man and with no soul. Oh, I forgot it, but it basically was showing like how he's actually become a real person now, or something like that. And the tear came out. I ain't gonna lie, y'all. Them tears came out for me too. Just like Vision cried as a robot, tears came out of me as a hardened man. I ain't gonna lie. I don't know how many times I've said I cried some of these shows, but hey, that's I think a indication of a good show. They actually pull at your heartstrings and make you feel something. Just feel something. All in all, if this is the indication of the MCU like TV series going forward, I am all for it. I am ready as all can be for Falcon and Winter Soldier. So good. Love it. Love it. I love it. Such a good series. Some good TV too. Yeah, man. And then Attack on Titan. What was this episode? Oh yeah. I mean, Gabby got hit, so I'm thankful for that. somebody hit Gabby again. So, in case you didn't know, fuck Gabby. Just putting that out there. I will say, outside of those moments, it feels like Attack on Titan is starting to get a little slower than I like. I think the season finale is coming up this Sunday, maybe. I forgot, but either way, I am still enjoying it. It's not as great as like was it the pilot, the premiere or the episode after that? Wasn't good as initial, start of the season, but I mean, it was enough for me to keep. I feel like I've watched them all now. I was like, I have to keep going still. So, The Walking Dead, yes, one of the 10 people that are still watching it. Yeah, it feels like this episode was kind of fillery too. I mean, the focus is on Daryl and Carol a little bit, but I guess the setup seems to be of a new character that I guess they basically are trying to maybe bring her back somehow, I would assume. But basically, a lot of it is like somewhat of a prequel to the events of this season, I guess, where Daryl is trying to find this girl that all of a sudden is lost. But they basically explain how he found Dog, which is is literally the name of the dog, Daryl's dog in Walking Dead. So yeah, a little felt a little bit fillery, but hey, it's at this point I just feel like I just it's a ritual now. I'm just watching it just to watch it, but it seems like next Sunday's episode is gonna be interesting. In terms, we got some new characters. I forgot the one actor in this one, but Michael Keaton. I'm not sure, but it seems to be a pretty established actor. Was he the dude that played? I think he's the dude that played the Terminator in Terminator 2, the evil Terminator in Terminator 2. He's playing a character. I forgot his name, but it seems like something might pop off in this episode, which I'm waiting for. I'm waiting for it. Movie wise, I caught Coming to America. I watched it. Coming to America is one of those movies where I felt like I watched it, but I may have not. Which I was like, let me refresh my memory either way. Because it's like, some movies where you remember very iconic parts, but you don't necessarily remember the whole movie as a whole. That's what I felt about Coming to America, with Coming to America 2 coming out last weekend. So it's like I watched that. It's pretty damn good. I didn't realize how good that movie was, at least for watching it now, at least watching it as I am now. But had a lot of good moments. Oh. Reference like Eddie Murphy singing at the, I guess, fundraiser for Mech Arnold's. I really do love the dynamic between all of the characters, the barbershop people. It's like, man, that totally is it. And then, oh man, it really shouldn't be killing me, but it does, man, because you got Eddie Murphy playing the singer with the Jerry curl, let your soul glow, and after he done, you got the dude in the middle. He only seemed to be the only dude that like the Jerry curl dude singing. That boy good. Oh, it kills me every time. Oh man, it is so fucking funny to me. It's like nobody likes this guy, and then this one random dude of all of the trio of the barbershop people. That boy good. I think he stood up too. I want to say that boy good. Oh man, that took me out. It really did. I freaking lost it, man. That boy good. So after that, uh, saw Coming to America, the sequel that nobody asked for. Um, so yeah. So just to provide a quick rundown, I guess technically it's essentially the same as the first one to an extent, but for the first one, basically, the Prince of Zimbabwe, Dukema, I want to say Zimbabwe, but I know I'm wrong. I think Dukembe, I want to say. I think Dukembe. I could be wrong either way. But basically, the Prince of Dukembe, basically been pampered his whole life, spoiled as hell for the most part, but is tired of being spoiled. Basically having his ass wiped and his dick cleaned. But hey, at some point, you're just gonna get tired of it, I guess. So he basically goes to America, and of all places, where am I going to fly my queen? Queens, New York. Oh, okay. Okay, all right. So they go to Queens, and then they basically, all hilarity ensues. They come across this beautiful girl, like, I must meet her, and she's like, oh, she works at Whack Arnold's or Mac Arnold's, and then works at Mac Arnold's, and then basically woos her, and then they find out that he actually is very rich, but he wanted to find the girl. He wanted her to like him for him, and they did. But then after she found out he was rich, she didn't like him, and then now, he has to. He wanted to marry her, asked to marry her, but she said no. And then, what do you know? Come to the day where you expect he's just gonna marry the one girl that hops on one leg, doesn't, but actually is the girl that he wanted, and they live happily ever after until Coming to America, where I think the king is gonna die, and then Eddie Murphy's gonna be the king now, and then now he has to find he finds out he has a bastard son in New York. I guess it was he got knocked up from a woman where he had to give his seed, I guess, that he wasn't aware of or didn't remember. And they find him, and then they do roughly the same thing, but it's like the inverse. Like now they're in Dukembe, and then this whole scenario ensues again for the most part. But now it's the dynamic where they need to get rid of the rival tribe that was basically, if you don't marry into our family, we'll kill you. We'll kill you, king. And so then pretty much that whole dynamic ensues, and then ultimately ends up being kind of a lot of cool funny references to the first movie. That dude comes back. That boy good. That boy good. And then somewhat of a payoff. Then the barber people, they're like, you know what? Yeah, he is kind of good. I was like, okay. It was pretty good, even though it has some really, really suspect what do you call it, marketing stuff. It's like all right, y'all focusing on that Pepsi can a little too long. Let's move it on a little bit. Let's just stop. And then it was some weird, like a weird comparison to Mac Arnold's, like we got the McFlurry, they got the McFlurry, which is deep down it's clearly like a marketing without marketing for McDonald's, subliminal marketing, it felt like. But so and then they used like a weird correlation where it's like the company, they didn't like me because we were trying to copy them, but they were trying to copy us, and they were trying to tie that into the main plot. And I'm like, no, that just it just felt really forced, in my opinion, where it's like felt like McDonald's paid them like, you know, $5 million. Like, hey, we'll give you these $5 million to make this movie as long as you put this in, and you know, hey, do whatever you want after that, you know. And that's what it felt like. It really did. It just felt like just out of place and random as hell. And it's like, I can respect if somebody put in a marketing thing where it's like, okay, all right, understand, you know, you got to pay the bills, whatever, blah, blah, blah. But yeah, that felt a little too tongue in cheek for my personal taste. But it didn't take too much away from the movie. It was just like, okay, that's all right. So yeah. So all in all, though, I think it was pretty good. A good movie for a movie we didn't ask for. I'll say that. But yeah, just had a. I'm still thinking about it. That boy good. Oh, I have to give a shout out to Wesley Snipes though. He was pretty good too. He really played his role as like the rival tribe, where they do this random, you know, mess. Freaking Rick Ross was randomly in there as a cameo, but I forgot and found out that they actually used his house, which is like a freaking estate, like village, to tape a lot of that movie, which is kind of crazy when I think about it. I was like, yeah, I see why they gave him a little cameo. It wasn't like distracted, but it was like, oh shoot, that's Rick Ross. Holy shit, is that Rick Ross? So, all in all, it's pretty good. I liked it personally. Did we need it? Not at all, but it was fine. It was totally fine. So, cool. All right. Outside of that, that's pretty much been it for me. So, I think that'll conclude episode 95? 95 Switches Sites podcast. What else? I think that's it. If you did like this podcast, feel free to like, rate, subscribe on your favorite podcasting platforms. If you want to watch this son of a bitch, if you want to watch this son of a bitch live on Twitch, Twitch TV, you can. Ideally around I hate trying to commit to a time because I feel like I never do it, but I'll at least give a window around 5 to 7 p.m. on Thursdays, Pacific time. Yeah. Outside of that, you can also catch the archives of this podcast for the people that like the YouTube podcast on youtube.com/aswitch as well. Yeah. 95, guys. 95. Sorry, guys. Yeah, you leaving as y'all were coming. So, outside of that, thanks for watching. Don't touch people that don't want to be touched. Don't cough. Get your game on. Oh, yeah. Nobody's safe.